Hey, come on over here. We got a new friend over here on the YouTube. His name is Maxwell. He's a really cool friend.
I'm sorry. My name is Maxine, and my pronouns.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to misgender you. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to dead name you. I'm so sorry. Stop it. Stop that shit. If that's you right there, fucking stop it. So this has been something that some people still kind of struggle with, is dead naming people and misgendering people. But not even just that. It's their reaction to when they get corrected for misgendering or dead naming people. Especially when like a trans person in particular tells you that you've dead named them or you misgendered them. And they're trying to do so usually in a very polite way. They know that a lot of the time, if they go around correcting people, they will be met with repercussions. And so by you reacting that way, it makes them not want to talk to you further. It makes them not want to develop that relationship or friendship. And that's primarily because you're focusing more on your, to be honest here, it's a really small mistake to dead name and misgender people. It only becomes a problem later down the line when you refuse to correct yourself. Take some fucking notes on how to actually speak to us. Now, I know that there are going to be some people who are allies or, well, let's be real here, we don't need allies, we really need accomplices, that'll be really interested in learning about this stuff because it'll help them develop relationships with LGBTQ plus people, but at the same time, it is also necessary to mention this for those who have family members or close friends who are coming out to them for the very first time as LGBTQ in some capacity. And maybe you've done a little bit of your own homework. Maybe you've actually looked into what trans people are, what non-binary means, etc. But what this video is meant to do is to help you respond to those moments where you mess up. Now, there are 3 fucking examples of this particular issue that I have noticed over the years. The first one is when you misgender or dead name someone and you go into that fucking panic mode.
I didn't mean to misgender you, I'm so sorry.
Stop. Don't do that. We don't want that. If you do shit like that, it makes it harder for us to communicate to you. It makes us think that the next time we try to correct you on our gender or identity, then you're gonna just lose your shit again. It is a form of abuse in a way to kind of like internalize and centralize your own anxiety when we have our own fucking anxiety and our anxiety is fucking placed in being marginalized. Please don't fucking do that. Seriously, please don't. The second example that I've noticed about this shit is when someone dead names or misgenders the other person and they say something to the effect of, oh, well, I've known you for 30 years, you know? I've known you since you were a fucking peanut. I've known you by that name and that pronoun and, you know, I just don't think I can, you know, learn your pronouns. So let me ask you a series of questions. If you live in the United States, do you happen to know all 50 states or do you know a lot of the 50 states in the United States just by chance? And even if you don't know all 50 states in the United States, do you at least know a bunch of them? If you're a fan of Pokemon, do you happen to know most of the 150 Pokemon that are out there? Assuming that you don't know all of them. What if you're a scientist? Do you happen to know all of the elements that are in the periodic table? Let's take it a step further. If you've went to school, and I'm sure you have, at least even for a little bit, you've been given vocabulary words and you've had to study them, drill vocabulary words and then apply them to a test or a quiz. If any of these things apply to you at all whatsoever, then you are more than capable of learning 1 or 2 pronouns that your friend or family have started using, as well as their name that they have started using as well. So for someone to say, oh, well, I've known you for 25 years and you were going by this name and this pronoun, and, you know, I just can't. No, you perfectly fucking can. You're making fucking excuses. And then the third one I always hear is something to the effect of, oh, well, you'll never be a man, or you'll never be a woman, or what the fuck are non-binaries? I always found it perplexing when they feel the need to say that you're a man, you never were a woman, or you never will be a woman. You know, yeah, of course it does hurt. There's definitely a layer of pain that comes with transphobia. After all, that's why we're fighting transphobia, because it hurts. You know, those kinds of comments in particular are quite fascinating to me, because if I'm being told I am not a woman, or I'm never going to be a woman, then why weren't the bullies when I was growing up saying exactly the same thing? Historically, what has always helped me reduce the pain that my bullies would inflict upon me, whether it be adulthood or childhood, is that their hatred of me was always inconsistent. When it comes to my bullies, besides their hatred of my neurodiversity, they always expressed a hatred for my femininity. And because the culture that we live in, the way that the culture literally breeds transphobia and homophobia, their hatred of my femininity, especially in the context of my perceived masculinity, is adaptable. Usually I wouldn't debate transphobes because transphobes are, well, let's just say beyond reach, and plus I don't owe them my emotional labor. But I did do this one time. I tried to confront this person and say, when I was young, they called me a girl, but now that I'm an adult and I have thus come to terms with my femininity and I identify as a woman, they start calling me a man. To which the transphobe said, well, no. They were saying that you're just like a girl. To which I would say, whether they are using a metaphor, a descriptor, or a simile is largely irrelevant to the context in which I am referring to. If being queer and transgender is such a crime against humanity, then why are the people who are against queer and trans communities so inconsistent with their hatred? Because even if, hypothetically, I were to be a cisgender, flamboyant man, would that propel away the abundance of homophobia that I already exhibit throughout my lifetime? Also, we all know that you find us extremely attractive, especially when you're voting against our rights. We're not dumb, we see y'all. We know you're cheating on your wives. And in truth, we don't want to be your little secrets. We don't want you to be hurting your wife anymore. Because your wife, as well as we, all deserve better. And thus this is where I start concluding that there is no winning when it comes to debating transphobes. You're not supposed to debate transphobes. They don't want you to reason with them. Obviously, the last one is used by, open transphobes. People who are actively hateful of trans people. But that does not mean that those other two examples that I just listed earlier are not transphobic. They totally are. Even if you mean well, even if you intend well, they are definitely fucking transphobic. None of these examples show that you are willing to learn. No, we do not need you to learn all of the pronouns. There's so many of them. And that's fucking wonderful. We don't need you to learn all of the LGBTQ plus flags or the sexualities or gender identities. When it comes to trans people, especially trans people that you are aware of, and they're expressing themselves by different names and different pronouns for the very first time, even if you get it wrong, you should be receptive to criticism or correction, and you should be polite about it. I'm gonna tell you this right now, and that is, if you were to deadname me or something like that, or if you were to misgender me, and it was by accident, I 100% would not hold a grudge against you. That would be irrational and kind of heartless, to be honest with you. What I do get annoyed with, however, is when people do the aforementioned. Anyway, thank you friends for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Be sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and, like the video or whatever, and share the video with your friends so they can be informed, especially if you have transphobic parents or whatever. Please show them this video. I'm getting sick and tired of seeing these motherfuckers running around acting like they know shit when they really don't. It's some real hardcore cognitive dissonance I've noticed over the years, and I really wish that they would just try to learn and keep their ears open. Oh shit, it's covered by hair.